Hey guys, Captain Dave. I wanted to hit the front of the video here. I've been doing this quite a bit lately, actually, where I just kind of start the front end of the video out with just a little bit of talking, a little explanations. And really, a lot of guys asking questions. I got some banter going on back and forth about shiner fishing and the values of shiner fishing and how it's different in South Florida. And I love that stuff. I think that's exactly the kind of conversations that I'd like to have. I want to hit a couple things. Well, first of all, I had a gentleman asking some questions about East Wall and a little bit of clarification about where East Wall is. And I don't know if I've already said this or not, but I'm going to put up some drone footage of East Wall. And what I want you to specifically look at, in fact, I'll put it up as soon as right now. And then we'll kind of snap back and talk again here. But what I want you to look at with the drone footage is we're going to make a right out of the Clewiston Cut, out of the Roland Martin Marina and whatnot, and not out of the Clewiston Cut, but out of the marina, as you go out of the dock or out of the levee, and you're going to make a right. You're going to go down a little ways, and probably half mile, 3/4 mile. And the first left is actually something they call the Dynamite Hole, and you're going to pass that. And the very next left you're going to have is going to be the entrance into East Wall. And you're going to see the way my boat's set up, that as you go straight through the reeds, it's going to kind of widen out. And I call that the hayfield areas of East Wall. And you're going to see, actually, there's some boats in the video, and they're in exactly the area that I'm talking about, where the cleaner water is and where there's a pretty good population of bass. And so I want to show you that. So let's start with a little bit of drone footage, and let's kind of clarify that. So as you look at it, I want you to be thinking in terms of today's lake report, which frankly the wind just howled today offshore out of Clewiston. I mean, we're 30 mile an hour, and hey, sometimes the gusts were bigger than that. By the way, hey, FYI, when that kind of thing happens, whether you're at the north end of the lake or down in Clewiston or down in Pahokee and Belglade down in the south end, you be mindful of the fact that a good strong wind for 10, 12, 14, even 24 hours, it moves water. And what I mean by moves water is places where maybe you sat down with your boat, especially when the lake level gets down around 13 and a half, which is where it's at now. There's places when you sit down, you literally wind up sitting down into rock or sitting down into some hard bottom areas. Guys are starting to ding up their gear. In fact, I banged up my prop here the other night, and I'm going to have to put one of my spare props on just from sitting down in the wrong place. But that kind of thing is dynamic. It changes as the wind blows. So as part of the lake report for today, that wind was blowing out, but I happen to also know that the fish were biting, and we'll come back to that. But right now, let's look at the drone footage for East Wall, a little bit of a clarification on what that area looks like. So coming right to you. All right, so that's East Wall, and that's the area. It's a very, very great place to fish right now, and it always is, it seems like, but particularly through the spawn phase. The fish spawn here from September to May. Heck, I've heard people, and I'm not willing to argue with them either, I've heard people say that they'll spawn beyond that. They'll spawn for 9 months. And again, I have no problem with that. All I can tell you is those outside cuts that you see, that's where the bass are. That's where the pros are setting up and shiner fishing, and what have you. And then you just working your way back and working your way back, and that's kind of how the whole thing plays. I got some footage of one of my good buddies here, Joey Berg, Captain Joey, and he had a young vlogger with him today. His name was Ethan, and I'll put their information up, probably put up a title so that you can get their Instagram information. And Ethan is just getting ready to start shooting his vlog, and he's got some great ideas about combining some hunting and fishing and that whole world. So thumbs up to him, but boy, they caught some big ditch melons. And so let's let you have a look at that, man. It's pretty cool.
Okay, we got Ethan out here. See that thing, Ethan? We got an 8-9 and a 10-2, guys. Lake Okeechobee is alive and well. Come down and see us. We got Captain Dave Snyder right there.
Hey man, show him to me, boys. This is a good shot, actually. Woo! My God.
Here, let's see that thing.
Look at that thing, man. Wow. That's what I'm talking about, fellas.
Lake Okeechobee.
Lake Okeechobee. Look at these boys spanking the donkeys. All right, man. Absolutely outstanding. Hey, Okeechobee, what do you say, Joe?
I say Okeechobee's alive and well. You can't beat this place. If you guys want to catch trophies like this is where you need to come.
And that's just today in a what, 4 or 6 hour trip, right?
Yep, actually these big ones came within 30 minutes.
Oh my
All
God.
at once.
Show me a little higher, man. Show me the tails. Look at those fish. Outstanding, guys. Captain Joey Berg, fellas. What's your Instagram, Joey?
That Angler Joey.
That Angler Joey. Find him, guys. Absolutely find him. Hey, we got another new vlogger here too, man. Give us the name of your vlog.
Just the Dream Outdoors.
Just to Dream Outdoors, and he's living it right now, man. That's absolutely awesome. Congratulations, guys. Thanks for sharing it, man.
How do you like them apples? Yeah, those are some big fish. Good fish. You could see how hard the wind was blowing. Joey said that one was just a little over 10, the other one was a little over 8. Big bellies on those things. Absolutely huge. Ditch monkeys or ditch melons or badonka donkeys, or I don't know. I'll tell you what. Next guy to catch a double-digit fish gets to name them for the month. I think we're gonna go that route. So be looking for that. Hopefully that happens sooner than later. I've got a trip in the morning. In fact, I got to be up in about 3.5 hours. So anyway, but that's here nor there. Lake report, spinnerbaits were good today, but the wind probably had a lot to do with that. We had the wind coming offshore, so the water didn't dirty up very much, which is very important. The east wall stuff that I showed you is still red hot. Those fish are going to be in there for a long time. And we've got a new moon coming up here pretty soon. There'll be another push of fish during that new moon as well. But having said that, the last thing that I want to show you tonight, or the last thing I want to go over tonight is, I had several people jumped all over the whole snelling, snelling your hooks and things like that. And so I got out, I got everything in dealing with the wind and everything, but the audio was pretty solid. And I showed 2 different snelling setups. I tied both on braid. Somebody had asked about, well, can I use it with braid, and what have you? And absolutely, it's almost all I use it with. But the tricky part, of course, is if you're dealing with a straight-shanked flipping hook. I use Trokar hooks. I'm not being paid to say that. I believe in the science involved. They say it's 30–40% less effort to put one of those babies past the barb. And whatever it is, I don't want to misquote anything, but I'm going to tell you flat out, they're the best that I've ever used by far. And so I showed the Snell with the straight shank Trokar hook, with the big flipping hook with the big keeper on it, and I kind of showed how you kind of nurse the whole thing in front of the barb on the keeper. And really the key thing here with snelling is to make sure that when you show your hook shank, you know, when you have the hook shank, you have to go in this way through the eye. That's critical, and because of the way that the bait kicks. But so yes, somebody asked about hooks. I use Trokar hooks. I use usually on a Senko. I'll use a 3/0 extra wide gap Trokar hook. I like the heavier stuff, the heavier hooks. And with flipping, I always flip a straight shanked hook, always. And I just decide whether it's going to be 3, 4, 5, or even 6/0, depending on the soft plastics themselves. But anyway, I showed it both ways, and I also showed it where you're tying without a keeper, but you got to tie in front of the bend on the extra wide gap, and those are both important. So here comes that video. Hope you enjoy it, and I appreciate you guys checking in with me every day. I'm going to get this video up tonight, so when you wake up in the morning, you'll be able to enjoy it. I'm probably going to finish up tonight with the Snell. And I've got my portable hard drive back, so I'm going to give a shout out to some of my football players tonight as well. Put up a couple of clips at the end. So, it's a guide's life, guys, and I so appreciate all you guys coming in and checking out my videos so much. So here's some snelling, and we're going to put a cap on this thing. Have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Specifically, I wanted to show you guys what I'm doing in terms of snelling hooks and whatnot, and it's really widely known how effective snelling is for for flipping and things of that nature. But I'm going to show you that. First, I'll show you how to do that, but I want to show you exactly how I'm snelling with all my other hooks as well. And the first question is, somebody asked me is, can you use it with braid? And absolutely. I use braid almost 95% of the time down here in Okeechobee, even in kind of clear water situations. So you can absolutely use braid. So anyway, I'm gonna get this set up here, and I'm gonna tie these things for you and kind of show you exactly what I'm doing. So it's a guide's life. Be right back. All right, guys. So here we are. I'm gonna show you on the flipping hook. Typically we're using, of course, a bobber stopper of some sort. In this case, I got a little rubber stopper here, and it's just a small weight. This is I think a 3/8 ounce weight. It's fairly small. And here's the key thing. First of all, when you're gonna snell, you need to make sure, and this is paramount, right? You need to make sure that when you're snelling, you're going through the line is going through this way with your hook. So we're going to go through in this direction here, and I'm just going to pull a length of line out like this. Just grab it, just like that, okay? And I'm going to kind of create a loop when I do that, all right? And I'm going to drop the whole thing, and whatnot. It'll just allow me to do it again here, but right through again, grab it, just like so, and then I'm just going to pull it back like this. Now at this point, I'm going to go in front of the keeper, and I'm just going to make my first loop and wrap in front of the keeper, and that's the key thing here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 or 7, something like that. I usually do it the standard, whatever I'm in the mood for. But I'm going to grab it down here, and I'm going to be left with this. Now this is key. It does not matter which way you go here, whether you go this way, it doesn't matter. Okay, but at the end of the day, you're going to pop that through there. Well, I'll tell you, I'm sticking the hook in my hand and everything else there. You're going to pop it right through the hole here, and you're going to begin to tighten it down. Now, when you tighten it down, you just want to make sure that first loop is in front of your keeper, and you're just going to cinch it down real tight, just like that. Okay, and just pull it down tight, and now you've got it snelled properly. Again, key deal here is that you make sure. Is to make sure that you've put the line in that way, and here's why. Because when the weight pulls against your hook, it's going to kick your hook, and you can kind of see that that's the advantage of the snell. Okay, just like so. All right, and I'm going to show you basically the same thing that we do with a with an extra wide gap hook. It's the same idea here. Now a lot of times we're doing this without any weight on it, you know, for flukes and Senkos and things like that. But the key thing is the same. You want to make sure that you're coming through this way with the hook up. Not, that's wrong, that's correct. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to do it exactly the same way. I'm going to grab a hold of the hook, I'm going to grab a hold of the line, and just like I came in front of the keeper, I'm just going to come in front of the bend here, just right here like so. 1, 2, this one's a little more dicey. 3, I said dicey for Rob's sake there, he doesn't like that. 4, 5, 6, 7, and whatever. Okay, grab it just like so. Hold it like this. Again, doesn't matter which way we go here. I'm going to go like that. Now I'm going to pull this nice and taut again. Want the whole thing in front of the bend, just like it was in front of the keep earlier. Flip those up just like so. And just like that. Now, again, the advantage to this is the same. All right, first of all, if you put your soft plastics on here, you're going to have a natural kick. Okay? You're going to have a natural kick when it's coming out of the fish. You see that the way the line pushes, it just wants to kick up. All right, does everyone see? You can see that just wants to kick up. That's one advantage. The other advantage is when you put soft plastics on here, you wind up the entirety of your knot and whatnot winds up being in front of the plastic, because you're not tying to the end here where sometimes your knot sticks out the end of the soft plastics. You're tying back here so that your knot is completely hidden by the soft plastics, and that enables you to fish some things. I'm just trying to snatch it up and see if I have a Senko here or anything for that matter. Pretty poor planning on my part, but here we go. You can see it on here. In this case with this fluke, when you feed it in here like so, a lot of times if you've tied yourself right to this end, when you go to this position here, that can work its way out and show, and you're not this way. Your knot's completely protected, and again you get that kick when the front does hit something. It kind of wants to kick up, and so that's snelling. That's how we're snelling these days with these newfangled hooks, and I hope that helps you. I appreciate very much the responses and the questions, and I hope that answers it. Yes, I use it on all my braided lines and such, and that's how you use it with an extra wide gap hook. I've shown you how to use it with a flipping hook with the keeper. This is Captain Dave Schneider. It's a guide's life. Boom. Coming right at you.
Franklin handed the ball off. Number 12, Josh Mead. And on the first. Extra point attempt by number 20, James.